Good evening. It's great to see you. I hope everybody is shoveled out if that's what you have to do. We certainly did.
I did.
And tonight is our public image issues. And we're going to have a gentleman, some of you might know, Dave Borowski. He's the PI chair of the Bailey's Crossroads Club. Additionally, he does a lot of PI work for the district as well, especially in terms of Facebook and our other social media forums. What I think is important is for us to realize two things. One, COVID may be hanging around a little longer than we wanted it to, but it's going to end. So you want to be prepared and you want to get out there, and both public image and I think the new theme are compatible vehicles for you in your club to reestablish that vision and that involvement of activity and to reacquaint, right, your community with your Rotary Club, not just Rotary, but your Rotary Club. And my last comment will be, as I turn it over to Dave, is I know that the past several years, Rotary's message, if you will, in terms of membership has been very hard in terms of numbers, like for the sake of numbers. I remind you of two things. One, as Rotarians, we believe in changing the world, sustainable change. That requires people coming in behind us. So if we are to continue our legacy, and remember, I ask you all the time, as incoming president-elects, what do you want your Rotary Club president legacy to be at the end of your year? But in order for all of that to go forward and continue, because otherwise you've wasted resources and time, we have to bring members in. So with no further delay, take it off, Mr. Borowski.
Hello. Rich, could we have the first slide? Here we go. Okay, welcome everybody. Have a good. I'm Dave Borowski, no relation to Pat, of course. I am. I'm her husband. This session is going to be about public image. I am the public image director of the Bailey's Crossroads Club, and I've been that for like 7 years, which is a long time. I am going to be, this is my final year as the PI chair. I think it's time to move on. We have a new person who's coming in, Elizabeth Hayskamp, who's going to be doing the stuff, and I'm working with her to get her up to speed. You know, being the PI or doing PI work is really not that difficult of a thing. And one of the things that you can do to alleviate any complications is to have a committee of other people with talent. And I'll get into that in a short bit here. Rich, if you can go to second slide, please.
And let me add in here that if you have any questions or comments as Mr. Borowski goes through his presentation, if you could please put those in the chat with all caps, and I will bring those questions to his attention. Thank you. Yes. Sorry, Dave.
No problem. Tell your club's Rotary story. That's probably the essence of the PI job. It's important, and it's important to have a good handle on public information and public relations. Next slide, please. We all do really good things for our communities, but we keep them to ourselves. We're afraid that it'll appear that we're bragging about our activities, but we really need to get this story out to not only our own members and other Rotarians, but to the public. And I think what that will do is encourage people to think and act service. It'll give people a focus for our service activities, therefore generating more volunteers. It could possibly attract donations and support for the for your club and your projects. And again, attracts membership interest in your club and promotes the idea of what we, of the ideal of Rotary, and that's service above self. Rich, next. And who's responsible for your club's public image? Rich, next, please. And of course, everyone is responsible. Members are responsible. They can hand out everywhere they go. They can bring. They can wear a pin, which is a good way to share your love of Rotary. You can hand out cards, be my guest cards, and that all helps to hopefully get members to want to join your club. And of course, the main focus of a PI is going to be your PI chair, and every club needs to have a PI chair. That PI chair is responsible for planning and communication, and it's a single point of contact for all things public relations. And it's also a collaborative function. Every committee chair should be talking to the PI chair. Now, when I was a few years ago, we were actually, when there was no COVID and we were doing activities, I was part of a committee along with the membership chair. And what we did was promote our events in the evening that we had at certain bars, and we invited people to come. And what I did was I put ads on Facebook, and we were able to garner enough interest that people would come in, and that helped to bring in quite a few members. So it's important that every PI is really a part of everything. It's part of membership, community service, the whole thing. And it's also important to form a committee. And of course, that depends on the size of your club, and and it's that committee will help develop a plan, which is a very important part of doing your Rotary public image activities. Rich, next slide, please. And making a plan, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. This is a plan that most of you have done in your business things. What are you trying to accomplish? What methods will you use to accomplish this? And that method can be social media. It could be ads, and I'll get into all of this in a little bit. What projects or activities do you want to highlight? And you need a timetable. What do you plan to do month by month? Are you going to help generate interest in one of your fundraisers? Are you going to help generate interest and ask for volunteers to help you in one of your activities like dictionary distribution? And another important thing is a budget. Now, a budget can be something very simple, like having placing ads. Now, for our club's Mustang project, we budgeted funds in the PI activity to create Facebook ads. And like for an example, I spent $50 for a Facebook ad. I had a targeted geographic audience. So this was to buy our Mustang raffle ticket. And I ran it for a week, and that $500 generated $800 in sales. So and we knew that it was a direct result of the ad, because we're able to see, and I was able to see when people clicked on the button and bought some raffle tickets. I was able to tell. So I had all the numerics for that thing. So it does work. Facebook advertising does work.
Dave, we have a
Yes.
quick question.
Okay, sure.
It's a really good one.
Okay.
How large a club do you need to have a public image committee?
Well, it depends on how much you want to do. Like the Bailey's club is, I guess, what is it, medium size or a large size, Pat? What is? What do we
It's large.
consider?
It's a large club.
It's large. And I have had in the past, I have had committee members. It varies in and out. Well, like this past year, with all this COVID stuff, I really didn't need a lot of people to help me out. So it just depends on your what you want to do. What's your goals for public image? You want to
And-
bring in members? You want to? Yes.
Well, just, could you quantify what a large club is, what a
Yes.
medium-sized club would be, small,
I'll
sorry.
do that.
Oh, Pat will
Yeah,
do that,
I'll
yeah.
do that. It's under 25 is a small club, 25 to 50 is a medium club, and over 50 is a large club.
So,
And-
it's kind of a personal club thing, depending on what you want to do. And you don't have to have a committee, but it does help you if you as the PI chair don't have expertise or knowledge of social media, if you don't write, if you're not a writer, I think it's important to get those people on your committee to help you achieve your goals.
Dave, can I also point out that goes back to what you said earlier, and that is everybody in the club is responsible.
Yes, they are.
So irrespective of the size of your club, if you
True.
don't want to have a committee,
Right.
then all of you got to cooperate in the different parts. There is no club too small
Right. No,
that
you're
should
right.
avoid public image, because if you do that, you'll be out of business very shortly.
Yeah, and you really can't. I think it's so important. The function is important to get your name out there and to tell your story. Okay, Rich, next slide, please. Okay, at a minimum for public image, you need to keep your Facebook and your website up to date. I've seen if someone goes to your website or your Facebook page and they see the first thing that they see is a date of a year ago, a date of 2 years ago. They see no new activities. They see no new calendar items. You're not people of action. You're people of not updating your website or not doing anything. They don't know. So it's important to keep those two things up to date. And at a minimum too, you should also advertise upcoming events. As I said, you can do that in a variety of ways. You can do it on Facebook advertising, and you could pass out a brochure. Kaz, are you able to bring up that brochure?
There you go.
I took a picture of this just right before the thing started, and I sent it to Kaz.
Yeah, Zoom doesn't want to share it.
Oh,
The executive producer extraordinaire.
uh-oh. Well, here it is. If you can see that thing. This is a brochure that I did, well, a couple years ago. It's been a while. It has to be updated probably. Now, this template to do a brochure can be found on the Rotary International Brand Center. It has the basic structure of it. We put in photos, we put in all the text and all the main thing. Like we have people of action. We talk about our club, what we do. Our big fundraiser is a Mustang raffle. What we do, who we help out, the county schools, veterans groups, the volunteer fire department, international stuff, a whole bunch of things. And it gives a way. It tells people how to come to a meeting. We'll buy their breakfast if they come to a meeting, and we pass that thing out everywhere. We passed it out at when we're selling those tickets. If we have peace things and dinners, we pass them out. So I think it's a good way to get your story out there. And again, you can do it really easily via the brand center. And I'm going to go into those links later on. And you can also send a press release to local news outlets. Rich, if you can get the next thing. Now here's a press release I did for last May. We donated $40,000 to local food banks. And this just gives a brief verbiage of what we're doing. Where to go? Hey, Rich? Rich?
Rich?
Rich? Rich.
I'm here. I'm getting it back. Hang on.
Okay, I'm hanging.
Quick question while you guys
Yes.
are doing that. Someone asked, they said it's, off on a tangent, but how much do you raise in your Mustang raffle?
A lot. We raised we didn't do anything last year. Year before last, Curtis, wasn't it like 140,000?
Yeah, it's up in the 140, 145. That was a unique
Yeah.
year, right?
It was a big year. Yeah, it was
That
right
was
before
the
COVID.
net.
That is
was
not
the
our
net.
goal.
Oh, yeah, it
to
was-
raise that much, but that
yeah, it was.
And if you guys want to look, somebody has linked it, the brand center in the chat.
Yes.
If you want to
Okay,
pop
good.
over and
Can I?
copy that if you don't already have that link.
Right. Two things I'd like to comment on real quick. Number one, on the brochure, and Dave indicated this. Please make that brochure your
Yours, yeah.
club's brochure.
Use your photos and your text. Yes.
Exactly. I've seen too many clubs, they go to the brand center, they pull down the thing that Rotary's put together and then like they stick their club name on it and that's it. And back to Dave's comment
Well, there
about,
it is. Okay, there's the brochure in all its glory. Those the photos on the top are photos that we took. So it personalizes the brochure, and we talk about our club and obviously what we do. We don't use a president's name because presidents only last for a year. And so we just say contact this email address for an invitation to come to our club. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Hold on.
Okay, I'm holding.
I'm sorry.
and
It's okay.
the other thing I also wanted to underscore, Dave made the point about making sure that you keep your Facebook and your website out.
Yes.
There is an enormous amount of research that people, not just young people, but all the way through their 60s, when they are deciding to buy a product or engage in an entity, they go to their website and their Facebook. And if that isn't relevant and if that isn't current, they don't even bother any further than that.
And the brand center, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, you need to register to use it. It's for members only.
Right.
And oh, here we go.
Sorry, there's a couple more
Go ahead.
question
Sure.
if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Well, I'm here all day.
We've often heard, and this is a great question. They're all great. We have often heard to get the word out to the district and other Rotary clubs, but haven't found that as much of a pull. Any ideas for an audience? That's a great question, and I'll leave that up to the bigger experts on that.
Well, no, wait a minute. What is maybe I don't understand.
They're saying that their club is heard,
Yes.
if you want to get the word out, tell the district, tell the other
Oh.
clubs, but they haven't seen much results,
No, well,
for that. So they're
that's not
asking
gonna work.
about an
Yeah.
audience. And
Well,
I think maybe
yeah.
who to direct it to for social media, et cetera.
Well, again, if you mean how do you get what you've done out to the public, you're going to have to advertise this, and you're going to have to spread this information on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Write articles to say patch is really good. Write articles for local newspapers. Now I've done that for papers like the Falls Church News Press. We've highlighted what our club has done. Now it's hard up where we're at. It's hard to get the Washington Post interested really in a article. I mean, they're just not going to do it.
Yeah,
Problem.
and to that end, a follow up that you segued into nicely without knowing, how many times per year do you do a press release, or is it each time you have a big event?
Well, it's only when we have an event, a big event. You don't want to waste your time and the time of the people who are getting these. I worked for a newspaper. I was a reporter for a newspaper. We used to get press releases all the time. We used some of them. We covered some of the events that were being talked about. But there are certain things. Rich, if you can go to the next slide. I think I have something on the next slide that talks about that, I think.
Hey, Rich, I'd be interested in hearing your secret to success because we did our Flags for Hero. And the article I gave you, we pushed out to numerous newspapers and ABC7 and Fox,
Did it work?
and we could get no coverage.
Yeah, it's tough. And now Arlington did the Arlington Club had Fox 5. Is Arlington on here?
Yeah, yeah, I'm on there.
How did you do that?
Yeah, so we've got a pretty active public image committee. The guy leading that up is actually a former journalist himself, and so he reached out to a number of news outlets, and the Fox, the local organization came out, and it's hit or miss, and sometimes
it's tough.
there'll be a slow news day, and
they'll pick it
a
up.
couple come out, and so
Sure.
that was great for us, and we shared a lot of that on our social media, which is the next thing you want to do to kind of get the compounding results there.
Yes. Now, have there been other events covered by local press, like news press, TV press?
I think there have been. I'll have to reach back out to
I know the Warrenton Club was on, I think it was Channel 5. Not this past summer, the summer before, for their big program that they have with the chamber. But one of the things that we do want to look at going into next, especially if we're all doing like Flags for Heroes, etc., is to aggregate that information and be able to show the impact that the district and all our multiple clubs are doing together. So that, and don't forget to send this information to your local community organizations as well.
Yes. So thank you. That's good. So how do you promote? And again, that's all hit and miss. TV is hit and miss. As Tony said, sometimes they have a slow news day, and we'll send out a crew, and you have to hit it right. Okay, now how do I promote my club's projects? You got to know your local media, like we all said. Around here, the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room is the Washington Post. But there are other small newspapers, like I mentioned, the Falls Church News Press. They printed a lot of our stuff and it had it online. I posted stuff at patch.com, the Annandale blog, and you just have to kind of think outside the box.
Nextdoor. Some people use
Nextdoor. Yes, Nextdoor is good too. Absolutely. Develop a media list and keep it current. Get to know local journalists by inviting them to learn more about your club, or even asking them to come and speak. I think we've done that a few times. That can possibly get them interested in what we do and maybe getting a story out of it. Contact media with newsworthy story ideas, being sure to know your story and expect some questions. Send background materials immediately following contact. And the key is to be persuasive, persistent, and friendly, but not aggressive, because these people have other stuff. It's just not, you're not going to make friends if you start to yell at somebody. And anyway, okay, next slide, please, Rick.
A couple of helpful suggestions. Sure. People are saying that they have had success with connection papers.
Yes, connection papers.
So that's another one.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and those connection papers have a lot of. They have city editions. Alexandria has one. Springfield. That's excellent. Yes, it is.
Also use your local chambers. They have news.
Yes.
JCs have newsletters.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, they do. Sure, absolutely. Some other ways are to advertise on cable and public access TV. Now, our district has a Rotary, and I'll talk about this a little bit later too, has a has a TV program, Rotary Times, hosted by Deborah Jackson, Dr. Deborah Jackson, and Paparowski occasionally too, and Jim Holcomb too. So anyway, that's something that if you want to get your people, your president to come in and be interviewed by Dr. Jackson, that can generate some interest. You can create a public service announcement. I've never done that. So I don't. write op-eds and letters to the editor, but you find somebody or get somebody on your committee that can write, because it takes, you really kind of gotta have a good voice to let people know what your club is doing and write about your club. That's the important thing. And here I go back to my brochures. I like brochures anyway. Post on your club website and social media outlets, including blogs, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other, Instagram stuff. Okay, so here are the tools that we have. The first one is the Brand Center, as I mentioned, and the Brand Center, you have to register. You have to get a user ID and a password. And the Brand Center has logos, templates, images, photos. It has video, and all these can be used. And I'll show you how to use some of the templates other than the brochure in a little bit later. But it's a good source of stuff. It's a good source of information. And there's also the Learning Center on the website. I know people have issues, I guess, with the Learning Center, but when it works, it's really great. And what you want to do is a search for public image, and I think there's like,
Hey, what's up, Biga?
I think there's what? I think there's 3 courses in public image, and they could kind of help you get your person that you have as a PI person. That could help them get started with the PI kind of thing. There's also a site called Canva, and it's a free graphic tool. And you could also get a pro version of it for nonprofits that's free. Canva is really neat. I use that. I have Adobe and stuff, but for fast, quick image manipulation or creation, Canva is really good. You may see that after we do these pre-pets shows, Rich sends me the video. I edit stuff. I edit out at the beginning if there's a lot of chatter, and I sometimes edit out the end, which is just people, not the participants talking, but the people who are running the thing. And then I slap on the beginning. I slap on some credits. I talk about what the show is, who's the host, who's the presenter, and at the end I give a plug for our district website. And if you're interested in becoming a Rotarian, so that Canva is really a helpful tool. I suggest that you have your PI person kind of look at that at least to get started. There's also a free photo editor called Foder, which I do use, but I use kind of a Adobe to manipulate photographs. It's a little bit more powerful, but Foder is great for doing some simple things, and it's free. Okay, Rich, the next, yeah, there you go. There's
Okay,
all,
sorry.
yes, go,
I'm sorry,
go.
just
It's okay.
quick question about the TV program that Dr. Jackson hosts.
Yes.
And sometimes occasionally Pat. Is there a way that TV show could be shared with other public television stations in other parts of the state, or is that intellectual property and then we just use the YouTube to share it?
It's intellectual property, and that would be up to the station itself. They allow us to use this on our YouTube channel, but I think for other stuff, and I know that Rotary Times is kind of a localized Northern Virginia thing, right, Dr. Jackson, right, Debbie?
Yeah, that and just to add to that, Rotary Times is being aired on public access. So the FPA is a public access station. We can use what they call a bicycle, and we have permission to go to other public access stations. Those are government, funded stations. So that is a possibility. It's not as easy as one might think, but it is a possibility to make that happen. Yeah. One of the things to get around it was to have Brother Borowski to put us up on our own YouTube station. So that has helped a lot. He also serves as our PI for our public image on Rotary Times.
Thank you. Yes. It's a great idea. It's a great show.
Yeah.
You should see it. I think I publish the schedule on the Facebook group every so often.
And we have tried, and I heard him say to some of you who have presidents or if your club is doing something beyond what typically we all do as Rotarians.
Excuse me,
And you
Yeah,
want-
Debbie.
yeah.
there's someone-
Somebody
someone-
talking. I can't.
Someone has, please make sure if you're not talking to the group, your mic has to be off. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Sorry, Deborah. Go ahead. No, yours is off. You have to turn yours on.
No, I was just
Okay.
saying, that's fine. Please, if you have, oops, I dropped something. If you know someone that, or your club is doing something phenomenal, something above what we would typically do as Rotarians, and you're making a tremendous impact in the community, please let us know.
Absolutely.
We would love to air that and show we're branching out now that we have the ability to do some things through Skype. We can come to you.
That's
You don't
right.
always
That's
have
right.
to come to us. So please let us know, and I can be reached right in DAC PD, so you can
Yep.
find me there. And if you can't, just look up Dave and Pat Borowski.
Yeah, we'll get you to her.
We work as a team.
We'll find you. We'll find you. Okay, as I was saying, there's a site called Debbie Vance is a Rotarian, and she lives in Canada, and she's a great graphic artist, and she's got a Facebook page that she uses to show distribute her Rotary graphics. It's great. It's free. In fact, Debbie will also, at least she did at one time, I think she probably still does, if you give $100 donation to the Rotary Foundation, she will create a personalized club graphic. So you can contact her. Again, it's Debbie Vance on Facebook. You just do a search for Debbie Vance. And lastly, there's a zone. We have a Zone PI website. That's the website right there. All of this is going to be. We'll send it to everybody, I guess, or we'll load this PowerPoint presentation so you can check out all these things and all these sites. Okay, Rich, you can go to the next slide, please. And photos and videos are very important. Next slide. And this, I saw this on the internet, so it has to be true. Human beings process pictures 60 times faster than text. That's the old adage that a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I really do believe that images and videos are a powerful way to get your ideas across. And I suggest that you try to use them. Okay, Rich, the next. Now here's some images, pictures that I took of our club's Thanksgiving dinner distribution. We use Justice High School Interact students, and we send them out, and they deliver these meals. Now these are minors, and you have to be careful with having the photos of minors. The school gives us the permission to have these students photographed and used on our website, like our Facebook page and our website. So you have to remember to get the okay with minors. It's a very tricky thing. Next slide. And this is just another, our dictionaries. We distribute, that's Ben Hester giving out dictionaries to our third graders in our school's pyramid. So we do that, and we advertise that. We send it to newspapers. We put it on our Facebook page. You put it on our website. It does work. Next slide, please. Now this is a photo of our Justice Interact kids, and this was I believe at the Halloween parade. Pat, is that what that's from? Weren't they there for Halloween for the?
Yes, the Halloween Annandale Parade.
And the Annandale parade. Now what I did was at the Brand Center, you're able to place. You were able to superimpose another image over a photo, And it's together we, and it's a bunch of stuff. It's together we end polio, Rotary People of Action. Together we feed the hungry. Together we are, we do a lot of stuff, and those can be used easily. It's not a big thing. It's not a major undertaking. You don't have to be a graphic artist to do it. And it's a nice way of personalizing, rotarizing, I guess, your images. Next, please, Rich. Now, I took this picture at the Toronto Internet Convention, and I slapped, again, Together We Connect, because everybody was there raising their hands and dancing to the music. So it does have, it's just a nice photo that you can use advertising or whatever. Okay, Rich. And I love this picture. I didn't take it. This is a selfie that Mish Peters, our member, who goes to Swaziland. Well, I guess it's now Eswatini, and she has a school there. So she goes there a lot, and she loves the whole thing. And it's great. It's a beautiful picture. I love that picture. I wish I took it, but I didn't. But I did slap on the Together We Empower. Thanks. Okay, next, please. Okay, some easy PI hints. I could keep going back to that brochure. I'm sorry. You can do it or don't do it. It doesn't really matter. Be sure to reflect your club information and photos that are up to date, inclusive of your club and the community. Hand out those brochures back, please, Rich.
Sorry. Yeah.
Hand out those brochures and create posters for your various club events. Advertise, who you are. We have when we were meeting in person, and we have a big stand thing that says at our venue that says the Rotary Club of Bailey's Crossroads meets here and the time. So that
We
helps.
have a really great question.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Someone asked a really great question. Can we use old photographs of individuals? For example, Bill Gates, without getting permission. How does that work?
He's a public individual, so I'm assuming there's no, if you're a public persona, your image can be used. I mean, again, I'm not a lawyer. I do watch Law and Order, though. Does that count for anything? Yeah, probably not. So anyway, I would say that an individual, a public person, you can do it, and I'm sure Mr. Gates wouldn't mind.
As
I
long
think
as you don't alter the picture.
Right. You don't
Or
want
make
to
it
put
seem as
horns
if-
on them. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Or make it seem as if they personally are promoting your club.
Right.
Like
Oh, yeah.
Bill
That's
Gates loves,
that's a
North
bad
Stafford
thing.
Rotary.
Yeah, you don't want to do. No, that's a jail sentence. I don't think.
Yeah, maybe not that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Again, if
okay,
it's
thank you.
in-
Great question.
If it's in his context of a Rotary, event where he was appearing, and whatever that event is connected to what you're attempting to
Yeah.
do, you're fine.
Yeah. And again, you can remind your members to talk up the club. Wear your Rotary pin. When I was, I don't know if I told this story to you guys. I joined. Or did I tell you about joining a golf league a couple of years ago? So anyway, I got hooked up with two people, and they were Ben Hester and Joe Luwire, who a lot of you know, and they got me active. They talked about Rotary and the Bailey's Crossroads Club. Now I did this for 2 years. The first year they didn't mention Rotary. I guess they didn't like me that much. But the second year they said, "Hey, come on over and join Rotary. Come to a meeting. I'll buy you breakfast." So that kind of stuff helps. Helps get people into your club and gets people active in your club, and take photos or shoot video at club events. It's really easy to anymore using a smartphone, to take pictures. I have a Nikon camera, but it's so easy to bring along a smartphone. You can take great videos with it, and I do take videos of our club events. I do stuff for the district. So anyway, next, please. Post photos. I said all that already. Twitter, Instagram, send stories to news outlets. boost Facebook pages at a cost if you want to get interest in your event or your fundraiser. And again, the important thing is to keep your social media and your website up to date. That's absolutely fine. And the point is to get and keep the name of your Rotary Club in front of the public. Okay, now we have a variety of social, our district has a variety of social media and online accounts. Next, please. We have some Facebook accounts. We have a District 7610 Facebook group, and that's a group is different than a page. It's a public group, so anyone can visit and read posts. But in order to post, you have to be a member of the group, and to do that, you want to send an email to one of the admins, of which I'm one, and there's a couple of us, a bunch of us, and there used to be some questions asked, but I think most people know if you're a friend of a Rotarian, we'll let you join. And the purpose of the group is to share information with district Rotarians. I'm doing this. This is an idea for something, an idea for a fundraiser. Please support my event. And I have down here two. I have the Facebook name itself, the group name itself, which doesn't really say much, but I shorten it using Bitly, which is a website that will shorten a long URL, and you can slap stuff at the end of it, like I did here, D7610 Facebook group. Now we also have a Facebook page, and anyone can visit and read, but only admins and editors can post. And again, this is a page intended for non-Rotarians. It's I think every month we put we as the Facebook cover photo, we do this is like February is Peace Fellowship Month, and we have that as the top of the thing, and we post stuff about Rotary, how to join, blah blah blah. So that's the name of the Facebook page. So if you want to like it, that would be great. If you want to join the group, that would be fine too. Yes, thanks. We have a District 7610 public information page. It's a public PI Facebook group. Again, anyone can visit and repost, but members can join. And members of Rotary can join, of our district can join and post to the group. Any district Rotarian can join. Just send a message to the admin, and I'll put you in. And again, the large Facebook URL is there, or there's a Bitly link too. And we have a District 7610 public image chair group. This is a private group for club PI chairs to exchange information. If you're a PI chair and would like to join, just send a message to the admin, and there are the two URLs, a long one and a short one. Okay, Rich, next, please. Kind of.
Quick question while we're
yes,
changing pages.
sure.
Sorry, I keep doing this to you.
No problem. Hey,
Really great. Another really great question. Do we know what RI or 7610's monthly themes will be during our year? And I think what they're referring to is like, this is peace month, etc. Is there a listing somewhere where they can find that information?
Yeah, there is, and it's on the RI site. You have to do a search. I don't remember off the top of my.
We'll get them to you.
We'll get all that stuff to you. So it's nice to have, at least at the beginning of the month, to post something about it. Okay, Rich, next thing. Prior to that?
They'd like to have the link sent to everyone. That's the vote from the group.
Okay. Okay. We also have an Instagram account. We have a Twitter account. And on the bottom is a District 7610 photo archive. All photos are free to download. Our district has two photographers, myself and Dave Mercer. And so when we go to events like the award ceremonies, our conference, our district conference, whatever, we take a ton of pictures and we post them all to that site, and they're free to download. You can use them for whatever thing you want. They're free, no copyrights, and that's the end. Thank you very much. Well, that was a long thing, but
Now, okay, so we're open for open forum. and that's sharing.
Yeah, sharing, yes. Don't
successes that
listen
you've
to
had.
me. Tell us stuff.
Tell us stuff.
Tell me
Yeah,
stuff.
I had a quick
Yeah,
thought. A
Tony.
quick thought. One thing that really works well is if you get this sharing going on social media from club members, and it would be great if whenever somebody has some events that happens, they send it out to this email group,
Mhm.
right? And just if everybody makes a point to share it on their own social media accounts, that really goes a long way.
Mhm.
It individually, it not doesn't take a lot of work. It takes 30 seconds, right?
Right.
But if you got 50 people doing that, that has an impact. So if everyone can kind of make an effort, if you have an event, send out that that email
That
link
email, sure.
to the group list, and
Well,
do it. Make an effort.
Well, now you could also, if you belong, and every member in our district can belong to that Facebook group. That's another way to share stuff too. Now, I like a lot of district clubs. I think a lot like everyone. If I see something that's neat, I'll share it on the group so people can get an idea, and also share it on the public, on the non-member Rotarian side too. But yes, Tony, that's a good idea. We should work something. Yes.
Can I just add to that? How many people were involved or are involved in PTSA organizations or something similar? And those are great networking groups. And you have access to that. You're not badgering them to join.
No.
You're telling them about a social service need that you're going to engage in your community. And you would be, we use that a lot in our community because Bailey's Crossroads is kind of peculiar. We don't have a chamber. We don't have anything else.
No, we got nothing.
And that also helps you to create a list of people who are interested in working with your club on social service programs in the future. And so you get volunteers, and then, after a while, suddenly 2 or 3 of those people say, hey, we want to become members.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing I wanted to point out when Dave was talking about posters, anything that you could put together in Canva and everything else, you can put a poster together. It doesn't have to be a gigantic one. It can be an 8.5 by 11. And you can go to stores, just like we did with the PTSAs, right? And they go ahead and Scotch tape that right up at the door. And or put it in the grocery thing on the community activities bulletin board.
Right.
So
all that stuff helps. Yes, it does. It's very, yeah.
And I'd like to add some stuff that's going on in the chat real quick. Someone asked
Sure.
a question about being beneficial to post events on the DAC-DB calendar. And the response has been, and this is from someone with deep knowledge of our upcoming district website. Yes, it is beneficial to post on DAC-DB. We are tying DAC-DB events to the district website as well. So incredible news on that front.
Yep. Good. Excellent.
Thank you, Sheila.
I thought she wasn't going to be on here. Good. Yeah, it was great.
What other questions do we have? Come on, but actually
Yeah,
share.
share
Just
information.
speak up. We don't
Yeah,
need to put them in the chat anymore.
Yeah, so just to say too, to make sure that that we're tagging, one thing that works with nonprofits I've worked with is making sure we're tagging the social media pages for various media outlets, and not just the standard press release, but if we can get picked up and get noticed by doing something that is truly of interest to them, they will pick us up, and if they should follow us, even better yet. And the other thing too is to posters and all that good stuff, and then also to think about what other groups of people might be interested in seeing. So if we want to cast the net wider, what other groups of people, how else can we reach people? Are there just really encouraging in terms of the whole Facebook piece, and it's really been a struggle for us, even in the small satellite club, to get folks to really share on a big level what we're doing as a club on their Facebook pages or their social media. It's really great to announce that we have something coming up, but a big opportunity is we got to share what we did. So
Right, sure. You do. You have to tell your story. Yeah.
yeah, you gotta tell your story. Like you said, Dave, you gotta tell your story as well.
Dave, this is Grace from the Crystal City Pentagon Club.
Hi, Grace.
What has been the most effective way during the COVID in order to recruit people? We are here waiting for Amazon, but everyone else is anxious. And we want to learn. We are new. I think you all know when you're new, you're very nervous. So we want to share ideas that are working in your area. I know that Bailey and Arlington, I'll be contacting you so that we can collaborate and learn from each other, exchange ideas, share your story, your success stories. But during COVID, I think, Dave, I wanted you to tackle that question. What has been the most effective way of recruiting people?
Well, I would have to, Curtis, would you like to talk about that at all, or any other club that?
Khalif is
done?
on as well.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Club, so yeah.
It's difficult. It really is. We've gotten some members, and I wish our president was on. They would know specifically how this happened. It's tough when you're not really out there doing stuff. When you're not holding events, you're not giving out dictionaries. It's a tough thing. Anybody have any ideas?
Sheila, you raised your hand.
One of the things that is really growing today is the Nextdoor app.
Yes, it is.
With so many people at home now, a lot of the neighborhoods have come together on their Nextdoor apps. And we have a few Rotary clubs that are now putting their meetings on the Nextdoor app, with come and join us, have a cup of coffee with us, and just come see what Rotary is all about and stuff. And it's really starting to take off.
Have you used that, Sheila? Have you, as your club, as Vienna?
Yes.
You've gotten people?
Alexandria West, I think, is the club right now that has really been successful with that most that I know of.
May I add one thing here? I'm from Alexandria Central Rotary Club. And one of the things that we do is we make sure that we invite our elected officials. In fact, our mayor is an honorary member of
that's good.
We are a very small club and a very new club. However, when the mayor and the city council are attending your functions, we tend to get more coverage as a result of that.
Sure. Absolutely.
And someone mentioned the Meetup app in the chat.
Well, we use that for when we're having meet and greets. We use the Meetup app. That works really well to get people to come to our events at local, usually bars, I guess, and it does get people in there. So it is effective. Yes.
One other area I would just recommend again is the Rotary referral service that they have. And if you did your membership section in either your manual or on the Learning Center, they talk about how to use that. I can tell you if the person from Fairfax is on, they have been very successful in recruiting members in terms of those referrals. So that's another area.
Yep.
What other successes have people had? No success. I will tell you one thing. A club once said to me, oh, we don't need to do anything like that. Our community knows what we do. And I said, great. Well, what's like your big thing? And they said, oh, we give $5,000 to XYZ nonprofit. And I said, wow. And they said, yeah, we do that every year. And, they know all about it. Well, it happens that I know that CEO, and it just happened 2 days later, I saw him and I said, oh, blah, blah. And our such and such Rotary Club, there, and he goes, who? And I go, the Rotary Club of da-da-da-da. And he goes, no, that doesn't ring a bell with me. Well, the long and the short of it was when I told him the individual who always brings the club's check to the organization, he said, Oh, yeah, Jim. Everybody knows Jim. He does such great fundraising for us. He goes out there and gets these people and he brings in $5,000 a year from us.
Right.
No connection to the Rotary Club. So
Yeah.
don't ever presume your community knows what you do.
And Grace, another thing that people do at our club does in this time of COVID, it's probably the best way to get members is the personal touch. Ask your neighbors to invite your neighbor to to a virtual meeting. They don't have to get dressed up. We do a lot of what our school interacts graduates who come back and become members. In fact, one of the members, one of our Interact students joined the Alexandria West Club. Alif, I guess, right?
That would be me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's right. There he is.
Yeah, and we have one that joined.
Oh yes, yeah.
Ava. Ava is a former scholarship winner from the high school as well.
If you can hit those people, if you have the database of those.
And if I could also add,
Yes.
I know Grace had a really great question about increasing membership. One of the things that I've been doing is we all know that Rotary is a central part of what we do for volunteering, but I also do volunteers with other nonprofits. And I think it's a great, when you intervene yourself with Rotary and other nonprofits and you're working as a cog, it's really great. So I've got about 2 to 3 members that are, or 2 or 3 people that are interested in becoming members, just to expand what they're doing now with what they're doing with their nonprofit.
And Alif, this is Alexandria West, right? Is your club?
Yeah, so now I'm with Alexandria West,
West,
correct, yeah.
okay.
I think that's
Great.
a great point. We recently had a speaker who sort of fell in love with us because of speaking to our organization. And Renee and Pat, you know who I'm talking about. I think you were there, right? And it's exactly what you're talking about, sir. Is Alif? Is that how you pronounce it? Alif?
Alif, yeah.
Alif. He already was doing some fantastic work with a group of people, and now he's really excited to merge his group of people with our group of people, and I think that's really magical. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
And it energizes both groups and gets, they're a really young group. You think a satellite group might be young. These guys are really, really young that he works with. So, it opens up a potential, interact opportunity for us too. So yeah, I think that's awesome.
And don't forget to talk about those, we said this before, I'll repeat it. The recognitions that you get as a club, members in your organization when they are recognized. We've had Mr. and Mrs. Fairfax, several of our members have gotten that. So that gets back to Alif's comment that it's not just what the club does, but it's what your Rotarians do additionally in the community. And you've got to talk that up. Highlight your members, maybe monthly, you get a member and you do like a 2-minute. What was their Rotary moment? And people are really interested in that. And you can do that so easily with your smartphones and be able to tag it.
Absolutely.
Are there any difficulties that people are having? Any kind of bumps in the roads that you particularly have that you want some group ideas given to? Nope. Okay, well, it's 7:29. No,
it's 7:30 anyway.
7:29, and I don't want to drag it out of y'all.
Drag it out.
Yes, go ahead.
May I say one thing? One of the bumps in the road that I was having was I'm trying to do a survey with our club. And because I have been on this training, I was able to connect with Deborah, and she gave me a great deal of information of how I might, she made me feel so much better to tell me that, well, the first time you do the survey, you might have to call them second, third, even fourth time. So I just want to publicly thank her for being so supportive of me as I'm trying to do the very first survey that our club has ever done.
Well, but
Good.
that's terrific, and that's what we're here for. Yes, Bruce?
Awesome.
No, we can't hear you. Bruce, you're still,
I've got a suggestion that our president has come up with as far as getting together during COVID. The principals, the executives for our club are dividing the club up into groups of 8. And we're taking members out to dinner at various restaurants in Fredericksburg. So we can exchange ideas, keep in touch, and learn from these other 7 members that we may not know very well. So it's a really good means to keep Rotary in the forefront of our members' minds.
that's a beautiful idea, Bruce, and please make sure you're all complying with COVID requirements.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we're definitely
The
doing
mask,
that.
everything. No, I'm-
Everything is by the governor's.
Thank you. But, we're here to help you. We're here to help you collectively, and we are here to help you individually. So please never hesitate to contact any of us, because we are the team, all of us. This is not my district. I'm gonna be the district. No, this is our district. And it just so happens that I will have the privilege to be the person that will be yelled at the most. But we're over a little time. Last thing, and I'm glad that the club mentioned the survey. Please get your survey results in. I realize that there's a number of you that have just recently joined, but look at the survey. It's not long. It's like 9 questions that'll take you 5 minutes. So this is important because this is about improving for you and for you to help improving for the class behind you. Because confident, competent, and continuity leaders is what we want in this district. Everybody, thank you so much for your time. Dave, thank you so much for your expertise. And we'll see you in 2 weeks, okay? Take care.
Everybody, thanks.
Bye-bye. Have a good evening. Have a great week.
Thank you.